Today on CityCast Philly, South Philly's iconic Melrose Diner was demolished last month to make way for an apartment building and a new diner. Or at least that's the plan. Can you guess the name? Yep, Melrose again. But other diners haven't been so lucky. So it got me thinking, what's driving diners out of business? Which ones are still left in the city? And where's the best place to grab breakfast for dinner? It's Tuesday, October 3rd. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Beatrice Foreman, you're a reporter at the Philadelphia Inquirer. You've been writing about the iconic Melrose Diner. Have you ever been when it was still in operation?
No, actually, I moved to Philly for college just before the pandemic, so I was really never able to go. I'm a Sam's Morning Glory Diner devotee and live in Fishtown, so I go to Fishtown Diner a ton.
Awesome. We'll definitely talk about those places later in the show. So you've been asking your readers to talk about their memories of this diner. What have readers been telling you so far?
So the diner is at the nexus of 15th Street, Snyder Avenue, and West Passyunk Avenue. So it really is at the epicenter of South Philly. It's really interesting because Melrose Diner has this heightened place in Philly lore and Philly pop culture. The Smithsonian prepared a history about it. Like presidents and celebrities have ate there a ton. There's a famous pop punk song from the Wonder Years named after the diner. But for the people who lived around it in South Philly, it was kind of just their regular catch-all for everything. It was where people who went to the surrounding Catholic schools went to kiss, make out after dances. People had standing dates with their lifelong partners and wives and husbands here, and they would go see the movies afterwards if they were a little bit older from another generation. People would get cheesecake and buttercream cake and apple pie there every year for their birthdays. And I think what makes the diner so special is it was just the regular neighborhood spot. And when you think about it in Philly, we don't really have a ton of those in that same way anymore.
Right. But Melrose is going to make a comeback, right? Tell me about that.
So Michael Klein, who is a food writer and my colleague at the Philadelphia Inquirer, has been following this diner and its happenings for a long time. And the current owner, Michael Petrogiannis' daughter, confirmed that they are planning to put a smaller version of the Melrose Diner in the apartment buildings that the current diner was demolished for. But there's no timeline. It's going to have less counter seating. So it's going to look a bit different. And like I said, there's no timeline, there's no projections. And I think in talking with people, they're really disappointed about that because a lot of OGs planned their routines around this place. It's where they got coffee. It's where they'd go after church. And now there's not a spot like that in the neighborhood anymore.
Right. Now, I have to say, since the pandemic, we've seen a lot of 24-hour diners disappear or cut their hours. Many of them were just local, family-owned businesses. Is that what's fueling their closures or reduced hours of operation?
So in actually researching for coming on here, I learned that a few of these places actually rolled back their hours in 2019 and 2018, so before the pandemic. And the big issues they kept saying were people aren't coming in late at night anymore. They're getting takeout. So it's been hard to staff the places. And that's really what has driven it.
Interesting. Well, I love a good 24-hour spot. Super nostalgic, like you mentioned. Some of these places, they had great bakeries and cheap, affordable food, free refills on coffee and soda. Where would you recommend I should try to go if I'm still looking for a similar spot like that is open 24 hours in Philly?
So there are two 24-hour diners in Philly, only two left. One is called the Liberty Bell Diner, and they're known for giving really large portions and also serving water ice for dessert. So,
What?
yeah, so if you're somebody who needs water ice year round, go there.
I
And the
love it.
other one is called Four Seasons Diner, not to be confused with the hotel or Four Seasons Total Landscaping. And they're kind of like every other spot. Their pastries are baked in-house. They're known for their chocolate cake. And what I found really cool, they give complimentary breadsticks.
Okay, this is like Olive Garden style.
Yes. It's giving Olive Garden. So if you want like a classic 24-hour spot, those are really your two options.
And these are both in the Northeast, right?
Yes.
Beatrice, there's nothing like having breakfast food for dinner. I love it. Pancakes at 7 p.m. That's the way to go. Where would you recommend I eat if I'm looking for breakfast for dinner or even later?
So these four places I'm about to talk about all close at more or less 10 p.m. So the first one is the Broad Street Diner, which is actually owned by the same people who currently own Melrose Diner. But you don't want to put all your eggs in that basket because the owner, like I said, Michael Petrogiannis, does have plans to raise the Broad Street Diner for more apartments with, again, another diner in the bottom. But the good news is he is not going to do that until the new Melrose Diner and that apartment complex is erected. So you're safe for now.
And the Broad Street Diner is in South Philly.
Yes. And a lot of people who love Melrose Diner do go there still because it's a very similar vibe. A lot of the waitresses are the same. The menus are the same. They do cream chipped beef and London broil and grilled cheese and all of that good stuff. Further south in South Philly is the Oregon Diner. It's been opened since the 1960s, but they ended 24-hour service in 2019. This place is cool because they have party rooms. So you could do like a little fun birthday dinner with diner vibes at the Oregon Diner.
Or we can get people to dress up in like nifty 50s or something, or like make it really super nostalgic, I guess. But I mean, it wouldn't be nostalgic for me. I wasn't like around in the 50s, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, a little like themed like greaser moment.
Yeah.
If you're planning on doing a themed diner party at the Oregon Diner, like I'd love to go. That sounds
okay,
so
I'll
fun.
invite you for sure.
Yeah, and they have some interesting menu items. They're known for their 2 + 2 + 2 + 2. 2 eggs, 2 strips of bacon, 2 sausage links, and 2 hot cakes, which is what diners call pancakes.
Yes.
I'd love to know why, like, there's that little, like, difference. And the other 2 diners that are open until 10 p.m. and do breakfast all day are the Penrose Diner. Penrose Diner is in South Philly. They close at 10 p.m. They do breakfast all day. But what you're really going there for are the $9 cocktails. That's what me and my friends do. We get a little home fries, a little $9 martini.
This is sounding good.
No happy hour deals needed. And the other one is my local diner, the Fishtown Diner, which is giving like kind of bougie diner vibes. It used to be called the Mugshot Diner when it opened in 2013, based on another one that's in New Jersey. And then 2 years later, they redid it. Just called it the Fishtown Diner. No more mug shots on the wall.
Right.
But they're known for, this is what I order, their French toast sandwiches. It's called the Andy's Grand Slam French toast sandwich. You get 2 pieces of French toast. You get meat, egg, and cheese in there. It is so good.
I love it. Beaches, there's so many diners or what I call breakfast spots in the city. They don't necessarily stay open late. Like I like to go to the Uptown Grill on Monument Road or Champ's Diner on Temple's campus. I even like Cedar Park Cafe on Baltimore Avenue in West Philly. Some of these spots you can dine in now that like the restrictions are kind of lifted, but most times you just kind of do takeout orders. But these places sometimes they tend to close in the afternoon, like 2 or 3 p.m. Can you tell us some other like great diner spots that you love to go to or you found in the city?
So Cedar Park Cafe was my spot in college. when I was like down bad on the weekends and needed like food. That's like, I would say my favorite like breakfast spot. That's not technically a diner, but if you want like proper diner vibes, first one, again, Northeast Philly. That's like the diner capital of Philly, is Mayfair Diner. Also owned by the same people who own Melrose Diner and Broad Street Diner.
Of course.
It's giving like Diner Dynasty. This place is cool because it has good juju. It has good vibes. Both Bill Clinton and Obama ate there before they won their respective presidential elections.
Ooh.
So maybe if you're running for office and
you're
you're superstitious, you should go to Mayfair. On the same political diner vibes, we got Sam's Morning Glory Diner on South 10th Street, around the corner from Angelo's Pizza and the Philadelphia Magic Gardens. So it's known for having its politics meme themed menu. They have an item called the Larry Krasner Eats Free. They have one called No Classified Papers Here. That's like a riff on the indictment. And they've been doing this since about 2015 when the diner went viral for this frittata they had on the menu called Scalia is a Douche, which was because he dissented in Oberfell v. Hodges, which was the Supreme Court case that legalized gay marriage. So they went viral, and that put them on the map. So now the GOP and the Trump diehards were like, this diner, I'm not going to have it. So they were, calling them, placing fake orders and never picking them up, just really messing up the operations. Then in April of this year, all of Sam's Morning Glory Diner's social media and websites were hacked. And their website now redirects to the Trump 2024 campaign page, and the owners can't get back in. They can't regain access of their accounts. So unfortunately, like if you want to peep the menu before you go, or like the hours, you're going to have to walk by.
Beaches, this is some tea.
Yes.
I didn't even know this was like so complicated and so messy.
No, it's crazy. Like I didn't know that like the diner beef was like this potent.
For real.
And now for chiller vibes, well, it's hard to say chiller because this one's in Reading Terminal Market.
Right, which is very crowded with a lot of tourists coming in and out of the city.
Yeah, so Down Home Diner is a Southern-inspired diner that is inside Reading Terminal Market. It's one of the few places that has sit-down seating in there. So my hack is if you want to enjoy your other meals, sit there and like get dessert. So you can like double dip. But they do Southern food. It is like a Southern comfort spot. I have heard that their biscuits and their shrimp and grits are amazing. And that's kind of the rundown on like damn near every diner in Philadelphia. I think that might be all of them. Yeah, I think that's all the ones that are left.
Beatrice Foreman, reporter at the Philadelphia Inquirer, thank you so much for breaking this all down with me on CityCast Philly.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll have a link to a bunch of articles that Beatrice and her team have written over the years in our show notes. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. If you enjoyed this episode about diners in the city, tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye.
Slay.
I love that.